Ladies and gentlemen, God, it has been a long time. Welcome back to another episode of the Two Count. And this one's a little bit unique. This one's a little special. It's unique because it's sort of a reunion, maybe just a little bit. God, I haven't spoken to this guy over here for quite some time. And there's also good news. We've got this guy down there. I'm hoping that when Zoom records this, it actually can show who I'm pointing to. But we've got this guy down there. What do you say with DDJ? So really excited to jump into the camera today. Really excited to talk to you guys again. It has been some time. There's been some changes on the channel. We'll talk about those. But what's going on, fellas? Come on. What is going on?
I'm chilling like a villain as always, baby boy. You know me. I'll do it Wolfpack style, baby. DDJ, go ahead. I'll give you the mic now.
Dude, it's all good, man. I'm honored to be a part of this. Thank you so much, you guys, for having me on here. As you can tell, I'm paying tribute to the greatest tag team of all time, the Road Warriors. Rest in peace, Animal.
Yep.
Both Hawk and Animal.
Yep. I mean, it's kind of crazy, where we've met the Road Warriors, maybe we haven't. I personally haven't, DDJ. I know that you did. But when you lose someone like that, someone like Owen Hart or someone like Eddie Guerrero, or you lose these guys, and even though you don't necessarily know them, you kind of lose a piece of your childhood with it, right?
Absolutely. I mean, that's kind of one of the things that really I've had a hard time with this, is because that was a piece of my childhood. I mean, it's just those, and I think the thing that really hurt the most is that it was so sudden.
Yeah, I mean, it almost felt a little bit like Macho Man Randy Savage, right? A little bit of an older guy, and then out of nowhere, boom, heart attack. It's
That's what he died from?
I don't know if that's what Hawk died from, but I think the real problem here is, and God, when you talk about wrestling in the 80s and 90s, steroids are synonymous with it, right? And right. I think all of these guys basically put way too much toll on their bodies, way too young, between wrestling, between steroids, some of them with the painkillers that they had to take to adapt to the wrestling and the steroids. And what it leads to is people that probably should still be here, but unfortunately they can't be. That's really the sad part. I mean, look at Animal. Animal was 60 years old. That's still far too young. The guy was probably wrestling for how long? 30 years, 40 years?
Probably close to that. And what the ironic thing is about what happened, he was out celebrating his wedding anniversary with his wife when he died.
I mean, that's a double-edged sword, right? Because it's not only did he die, I mean, his wife is sitting there thinking she's having dinner and it's going to be another great anniversary, and ripped from the world.
Mm-hmm. Really tragic.
Well, I saw someone on Facebook post the other day, and they said, it's amazing that now the LOD shall be reunited in heaven. They left us on Earth with the most interesting member of their faction, Paul Ellering. But, the Road Warriors are a team that won't be replaced too easily. And it'll be interesting because, wrestling comes with tributes. Wrestling comes with people that emulate, right? So right. The question becomes, who becomes the next LOD now that there is no LOD? Does a tag team emerge that's like them? I thought the Ascension a couple of years back looked relatively similar to what LOD did, with a different twist on it. Will there be another team that enters that mantle of just these two badasses that, pretty much rule the division?
If you're asking my opinion, I'm saying no, because that many have tried. Nobody's done it. It's just like Michael Jordan. There's never going to be another Michael Jordan. There's never going to be another Road Warriors. So there's always
a first version of one thing. That there's never going to be another Michael Jordan. There's never going to be a second version of Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan is Michael Jordan, just as Road Warriors are the Road Warriors.
Yes.
If you want, what I would say, pro wrestling wise, I don't see anyone making the impact that the Road Warriors had throughout their career. But if you want to say in ring wise, I would say Razor and
Akam and Razor.
Akam.
Those guys.
You know,
Well, that's if they find jobs again elsewhere.
Yeah. Let's hope that that's the case. I'm sure they will. Honestly, those two guys, you know, would be smart for them. They should probably roll over to Japan, because I think
or Impact.
You know, we could talk about everything. It's been a long time. You know, I don't think necessarily Impact. Okay, so people are gonna shit on me because you know I'm an AEW mark. I mean, that's pretty damn obvious, right? But people are gonna shit on me for this. But I don't think Impact needs any other WWE talent. They literally just took in like 8 guys.
No, I'll be honest with you. Impact's got a really stacked roster as it is. Their tag team division alone, honestly, I'm going to say it's the best out of all the major organizations, and that includes AEW, because you got the Good Brothers, you got the North, you got the Deaners, you got Triple XL. I mean, there's tons of teams on there and stuff, and it's just, they, like you said, they don't need anymore. And when you mentioned about them going to Japan, that's honestly, I was thinking it as you were saying that.
I think you throw them over there, you put them in the Bullet Club, they join up with Tama Tonga, Tangaloa, Kenta, Switchblade, all those guys. I know, Dave. I know. I'm sorry I mentioned him. I don't want to get you started. Let's just say Enzo is to Tama Tonga as Dave is to Tama Tonga. So like they have that like same level of hatred.
Okay, so I'll be careful to mention Tama or whenever I'm around Dave. I gotcha.
Yeah, but those.
Hey, listen, man. I love Tama, man, but fuck me, man.
He cut a promo on the show, which was literally a 30-minute shit on Tama Tonga. You don't remember that?
It wasn't a. Yeah, I remember it. It wasn't a shitty.
Oh, dude,
bro, I like this guy so much, right? I think he has so much potential, right? Mm-hmm. That if you really wanted to fucking put him over, make him the leader of the Bullet Club.
That was Dave's argument.
Bro. My entire argument.
The guy for months saying you're a pussy. Step up and be the leader yourself.
Step up. That is we went at it on Twitter too. Me and him went back and forth. But he was like, "Oh, you don't understand. There is no leader of Bullet Club." I was like, "No, I do understand. You are." Then what is Switchblade? Wasn't he considered to be the fucking top dog in that?
Honestly,
faction?
I think there's a little
At
bit.
one point.
So I think the reason they never made Tama the leader of Bullet Club, and it's actually rather simple. Bullet Club is supposed to be the Gaijin faction, the faction of evil foreigners, right? That's always what Bullet Club was supposed to be. It was Finn Balor. It was, I'm not going to call it. It was Prince Devitt. It was Carl Anderson. It was, it was these evil, white guys coming from Ireland and America, and they were coming to take over New Japan Pro Wrestling. And then they slowly started to sip some Japanese guys into the background. But for the longest time, the only Japanese guy in the stable was Yujiro Takahashi, right? Everybody else was from somewhere else. Even Fale is from the Polynesian Islands, I think, right? Or is
I thought he was New Zealand.
New Zealand, that's it. I don't know why I said Polynesia, but that would be Tama Tonga, right? So you have these guys that are not from Japan forming this faction. I think they want that like evil pretty boy in the front man role, because if you look at who they've handed the Bullet Club to time and time again, it went from Devitt to Styles to Kenny to Switchblade. So there's always that like white, arrogant, cocky a-hole leading the faction.
But maybe it's not. Listen, we need change, man.
But listen,
the Bullet Club has fallen, just like the Elite. The Bullet Club, they were here, right? The Elite was here, they were here, and they both have fallen major.
So there's a difference between the Bullet Club and the Elite, but they're both symptoms of each other. So
yeah, it's a derivative of the Bullet Club.
So the Elite got big off of the back of the Bullet Club, right?
100% agreed.
And what happened was when the Elite broke away from Bullet Club has like a really cool, buzzy vibe to it, right? And the Elite made Bullet Club something that transcended what New Japan even had in mind for it. I mean, literally these shirts were the best-selling shirts at Hot Topic. That was directly because of the Bucks. They had the Funko Pop deal. That was directly because of the Bucks. So the Elite leaving New Japan in general was a big blow for business that they still haven't really recovered from. Now, in regards to the Elite themselves, what they have done is they're like, look, we need to build and I'll explain why I think it wasn't the best idea either. But they're like, we need to build a new promotion. We are the biggest names in this promotion right now. Not all of them. I think they overestimated their own name value a little bit to a mainstream audience, right? So they're like, we're the biggest names in this thing. Let's put everyone over so we can get this young talent over, right? And it worked because they got guys like Darby over. They got guys like Private Party over. They got us to care about people that we had never heard about before in our lives.
I don't care about
Jungle Boy.
Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. I know you don't care about, but
I'm gonna be a heel here.
You always are. But you.
I know I like Jungle Boy though. Listen, if they use Jungle Boy correctly, and they get him out of the Jurassic Express, and they make him, bro, they make him a heel, like alongside MJF.
What did
like
I say the other day? No,
Bro.
he doesn't need to be an MJF. He's got the perfect gimmick built into him.
No, I'm saying not that he needs to be an MJF.
I'm agreeing with you. What I'm saying is he's got the perfect gimmick for himself when he breaks free from this. His father is Luke Perry. He could be like,
This guy could be
royalty.
This guy could be. Go ahead, Didi. Go ahead.
He could be that arrogant Hollywood, that Hollywood stuff. Basically, what the Miz is trying to be.
Yep.
Exactly. He can be AEW's Miz.
Now,
but he can wrestle.
But here's the thing. But what happened is it created a weird imbalance because Kenny Omega was not known to a mainstream audience. He was known to a loyal New Japan crossover audience. Cody Rhodes was known to a mainstream audience, and I think he's been probably booked the best out of all of the Elite, right? Now, in addition to Cody Rhodes being on the mainstream, the Young Bucks, again, also overestimated their value on the mainstream, right? So they thought that they could afford to take these losses up front because people know they're the Young Bucks and they're going to be fine. The problem is to us, we look at it and we say, well, I get it. The Bucks are trying to put these people over because they're this great tag team and they can turn it on at any time, right? But I think to the casual viewer who's watched them lose time and time again, it becomes a different story because they're like, wait, this team's supposed to be the greatest team in the world. Every time I watch them, unless they're wrestling jobbers, they lose, right? And that's their value.
And I was just gonna say, yeah, you mentioned that you could honestly say the same thing about Kenny Omega since he's been in AEW. I mean, basically everything you just said about the Young Bucks, you could swap them with Kenny Omega and basically repeat verbatim what you just said, and you would be 100% correct.
Absolutely.
Kenny Omega is a stale fucking wrestler right now.
It's not.
They need to do something with him fast.
It's not that he's stale. It's that he's like Kenny has shown us that he still has those fantastic matches in him. Look at both of the matches versus Pac. Look at the tag team match of the look at not the FTR match so much, although that was a good match. But look at the Kenny and Hangman versus the Young Bucks match. Again,
woo, buddy, that was something to see live.
Another phenomenal match. So Kenny has those matches in him. The problem is he's put himself into a position where all he can do is put people over right now. And
why?
And as I was
if he's not even over here.
Well, I think we're about to see his rise again.
What? And a year into this fucking company, now you want to do it?
But do you know who? Look at
you know how much his stock how much he devalued?
Yes, but look at what really happened though, Dave. You're not looking at the whole picture, right? So he comes into the company. He's got this #1 contenders match versus Chris Jericho, right?
Right.
It was a decent match. DDJ, me and you were sitting right there. It was a decent match.
I wasn't there for that. I was with you when Jericho won the AEW. I didn't go to Double or Nothing in Vegas.
No, I mixed up the time. So anyway, I didn't go to that. We were at All Out. So anyway, he winds up having a good match. It wasn't the best of the two. The one in New Japan was better, but he has a good match with Jericho and he loses. Then what happens next? Mox comes to the company, right? And Mox is their big free agent.
Then he lost the pocket All Out.
He lost the pocket All Out, and he got choked out. And then Mox is their big free agent signing, so he loses to Mox, right? So basically, he's now put over 3 people that 2 of them became champions, and one of them is probably would have been in the title hunt had he not gotten stuck in Britain for COVID.
Right.
So Kenny put over the major players in the company. Then they put him in this tag team with Hangman to kind of revitalize him a bit. What I find weird is, and I know you haven't been paying too much attention, Dave, but Dennis, what I find weird is that they're doing something still with Kenny and Hangman. Like if they were trying to set up a feud where they were fighting, I don't understand really where they're going with this Kenny just coming out for commentary every time Hangman wrestles. I don't get it.
The thing is this too. I don't understand half of the shit that's going on.
What do you
just
mean?
Because in AEW, all right, so
sorry,
I get it. Yeah, they broke. They're gonna do that breakup.
Sponsored post.
They're gonna do that breakup. You know, they're gonna do that breakup shit. Whatever.
This was my snack for tonight.
Yours is healthier than mine.
Fuck me. This is my snack right here. God damn it.
Yes. My guy.
Fuck yeah. So this is my thing, right? With Kenny and Paige. And I don't want it to go down this path where Paige and FTR are another fucking faction in AEW. It was like, how many fucking factions are you gonna have?
We'll talk about that in a second.
And I feel like, yo, if you're gonna fucking make Hangman into this badass Stone Cold Hangman, then go with it and just let him be a badass. Just let him, fucking run through. They have to give him, you know what MJF did this past week where he wrestled the dude 20 seconds, the guy's out of here, right?
Mm-hmm.
They need to do that with Hangman. Have him wrestle more matches like that, right? Instead of having these fucking kick-ass fucking matches and have Kenny on commentating. You know what they could do? They could do something like, where Hangman has let's say each week he has a new local wrestler, right? Mm-hmm. Like a squash match. Give him a squash match. Give him a couple squash matches. And then you'll have Kenny like coming out to come commentate, and then 20 seconds, a minute is over. He gets to say nothing. And then it's like, so then Kenny challenges him. And he gets the best of Kenny. And then you have Kenny come back as, the cleaner or whatever, or build into that gimmick.
Yep. But
the way that it's true, it doesn't make sense what they're doing.
So the factions portion I can explain to you. Essentially what AEW is, you got to remember, AEW is very heavily influenced by New Japan. Just the way it is. I think Kenny Omega really did like Gato's booking, and you can see some of Gato's booking style on the product. It's almost as if they took WWE style, they took New Japan style, and they were like...
mashed it together.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
and it's perfect. I like it. I mean, it's just...
It gives everybody a little bit of everything. But just for the faction's sake, right now when you're looking at it, right, what do you have? You have the Inner Circle. You have the Dark Order. The Elite's not a faction anymore. If you're looking at the Elite's...
They're done.
But that's what I'm saying. Say that on TV. Put it on TV. Put this issue on TV. I don't want to have to go to fucking YouTube every day or every Monday or whenever the fuck it comes out to go see what's happening. And this is my thing. I like pro wrestling. If you're gonna give me a fucking storyline, give me a storyline. Yes, you can have your fucking laughing moments, but give me something that's fucking real. If you're not gonna do the Elite anymore, communicate that shit.
Well, and I think they're not doing it for a reason, because I think right now, and Dennis, I know you've been watching too, I think right now they're at kind of like a bursting point. I think Kenny and the Bucks are about to go full on heel, right? You could see it in the Bucks.
Oh, we saw it in the Bucks already.
You see it in the Bucks,
Right.
and Kenny's making small little comments. Like when he walked off of commentary last night, he said, "I'll bid you adieu," right?
Yep.
That's the Kenny. That's the little subtle hints of the cleaner starting to make their way through. If
Right.
you look at AEW's website right now, it has Kenny Omega listed as the cleaner. It never did before.
Really?
Yep. So they're making subtle moves towards the cleaner. The
But
elite.
do you understand what I'm saying? Why put it on your website?
Because
Let him make that. Let him.
But it's called developing a story.
Yes, but
they're
you're giving it away. Everyone already knows this. You're doing the same shit he did in You're gonna do the same shit he did in New Japan to become the cleaner.
He's going to, because that's what's sold. That's what's put asses in seats in.
But don't fucking give it up. You're a new company in the U.S. By putting that shit on your website, the cleaner. All right, everyone is gonna know what the fuck is coming.
Well, be that as it may,
But at the same time, real quick, I get what you're saying, Dave. But at the same time, somebody can go on the website and be like, "Oh my God, he's the cleaner again. I'm gonna watch." It's kind of like, and I kind of liken it to when like WWE or someone, they advertise like a spoiler for something, because they're doing it because in terms of they're trying to bring more people in. If they say, "Hey, such and such, so and so, won the title. See how it happens on this week's episode of Raw or whatever." People are going to go watch that, and I think that's what Charlie's trying to say on his side, is that it's a way to get people. Hey, they go on the website and you say, "Oh, he's going back to being the cleaner. I want to check this out." Or even someone that maybe he's never seen the Kenny Omega as the cleaner, like, oh,
yeah, they're gonna be like, "Oh, what the fuck is this about?" You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And
I just got a gift from Zoom. They've extended our recording for no reason. Thank you, Zoom.
Nice.
I just saw that too. Thanks, Zoom. Shout out.
Thanks.
Yep. Logitech,
Sweet, baby. So this is my thing, though, Dennis. I hate the inconsistencies that they have in their storylines.
Well, so here's the interesting part, Dave, and I don't think you realize this yet. Like I've been trying to tell you, we're at a melting pot with these factions. The really only solid stable at the moment, and I mean this, the only solid stable is the Dark Order, right? And it's because you've got Brodie Lee, you've got Evil Uno, Stu Grayson. Those are your main three. Colt Cabana's kind of there. I'm not sure what Colt's doing. He's part of it, but he's not
I feel
part
like Colt Cabana's like the... It's going to sound fucked up what I'm going to say, but I feel like he's like just the road dog of DX or X-Pac.
No, there's a weird dynamic between him and Brodie Lee that I haven't quite figured out yet. It's like Brodie wants him to be a part of the Dark Order, but at the same time, Colt doesn't want to be. So he's like, it's like that. It's like I was in college, right? I was friends with multiple frats, but I didn't want to actually join one because then I got to go to all the parties. That's kind of what Colt Cabana is doing right now. He's like, all right, I get all the benefits without having to be a part of it.
Well, no, see, my whole thing with Colt and the Dark Order is the Dark Order came around when Colt was on a losing streak.
Yep.
Colt's
right back, guys.
like this, trying to, he's like, okay, there's these people that want, he felt that sense of wanting to belong somewhere. And, the Dark Order provided that. But it's like, and I see that, but I see like when he comes up, you can tell he's like, I don't know if these guys are who they say they are or something like that and stuff. So that's kind of my whole thing with the Colt Cabana and the Dark Order. But even going off that, you look at, Reynolds and Silver, who, in my opinion, are like the best thing on being the elite right now. They are constantly cracking me up. And I mean, you look at number 5, number 10, and then Anna Jay.
Anna Jay, to me, that girl has been wrestling for 1 year. That girl was such a find. She is going to be an absolute superstar.
100% agree with that.
I'm glad that they got rid of that stupid star of the show gimmick because it was kind of weird when she would come out with the top hat, but they immediately got rid of that. And I think so I wasn't sure about the feud with Brandy at first because I'm like, I think to get this girl over, you need to put her in matches with people like Serena Deeb, who have a lot of in-ring experience that can help carry her and guide her and teach her. And Brandy's fantastic, But Brandy is also someone that's newer to wrestling in terms of just her body of work with matches. So
Right.
I was a little concerned, but honestly, I was very happy with the match on Dynamite After Dark or whatever.
The late night Dynamite.
Dynamite. I thought it was a great match, and I think the thing that was really great was Brandy's known as the Queen, and now she's got this Queen Killer gimmick, which I
Right.
think is a perfect gimmick to be assimilated into a group called the Dark Order.
Well, you also got to take into account that when the Dark Order, you know, like when Brodie squashed Cody to win the TNT title, and the Dark Order laid waste, got my tongue tied there, laid waste to the Nightmare family, that you had to have that female to go after Brandy, and I think bringing Anna Jay in there, like you mentioned, is going to do nothing but wonders for her career. And I mean, it's evidence because she's clearly getting over. She won decisively, and I mean, yeah, the sky's the limit for her.
So, and what's amazing to me, and I've got to give kudos, and I know you're a big fan of Brodie Lee now because of your birthday.
Yes, thank you again for that, by the way.
You're very welcome. But you got to love Brodie Lee. I saw the best gift the other day, and it was like, homeless man joins cult, gets kicked out of cult, forms his own business, and is now a very successful entrepreneur. And it had a picture of him as Luke Harper at the top and a picture of him as Brodie Lee at the bottom in the suit. It was hilarious. I gotta find it for you. But Brodie Lee, I give all the credit to in the world because he's a guy, you know, people are shitting on AEW for signing WWE talent, but I think what they've done is they've signed all the guys that we said for years needed a shot, and
Yep.
now they're getting their shot and they're excelling. You know, Jory's still out on Cardona. Jory's still out on, you know, some of these guys. But Brodie Lee is one guy from I mean, look, if you look all the guys that came over from WWE, Mox has really accelerated himself here, I feel. I think it gives you a better glimpse of his personality. Brodie Lee is another one. While we're on the Dark Order,
I don't know if I really like Brodie Lee's gimmick.
what-
This is the only problem that I have with it. I wish he was. I like the gimmick that he has. That, you know, it's like this rich guy or whatever. I don't know what it is he's supposed to be.
It's not that he's a rich guy. I want you to picture him. So I think his gimmick is more like a demented Tony Robbins, right? He's like a motivational speaker that has developed a cult. So he's Bray Wyatt. It's essentially, you know, he's got this cult following in the Dark Order. The difference between him and Bray Wyatt was like this country bumpkin that led a cult from the wilderness. And this is a
Country bum.
a country bumpkin.
Backwoods.
Backwoods, exactly. And, you know, Duck Dynasty, that's literally why the characters were formed, because Vince McMahon liked the Duck Dynasty.
Wow.
That's not a joke. But
Knowing Vince McMahon, I wouldn't be surprised.
I mean, but what he's really done is he's like a Tony Robbins with a cult, right? But he's evil. But I think he's done a great job of building it out. I think his early promo work was fantastic. I mean, you really can't hate on them for the guys that they brought. I think if you look at all of the talent that was released, I think AEW did the best despite not signing the most. The one that disappointed me that they didn't sign was Deonna Purrazzo because their women division really needed help, and I think she's incredibly talented. And that's evidence because Impact literally put the strap on her right away.
That women's division needs milk.
What do you mean?
AEW's women's division is horrible.
I will say no, Dave. I hear where you're coming from. I think the best is yet to come for that division. I think that right now the smartest thing that they did was pick up a telephone and call Billy Corgan and ask for the rights to use Thunder Rosa, because I think Thunder Rosa has turned around AEW's women's division single-handedly.
That's just one person, bro.
Yeah,
You need in order for this boat to float, you need, you know what I mean?
So let me explain. All you need is one credible person. Let me explain what I mean by that, okay? The division up until this point had no one that carried a presence about them. Hikaru Shida is fantastic, but she's a very quiet, shy, timid Asian girl that barely speaks English, And she's incredibly skilled in the ring, right? She can be the face of your company, but you need other people around her that make her look even better, right? And to this point, AEW's women division has a couple of, I think they've done a good job of developing a few people. Shida, they've done a fantastic job of developing, but again, she's limited because of her microphone ability. Fantastic in the ring, got to get a little bit better on promos. Thunder Rosa was the greatest addition because she can be the Trish Stratus to Hikaru Shida's Lita, right? Those two can just continue to put on matches, and Rosa is fantastic on promo work. She's an MMA fighter. She carries a presence about her that AEW, like I wanted AEW to sign Tessa Blanchard. That can still happen, but to me, Rosa right now is the second best thing that you could have gotten to that. They're going to have Statlander come back. They did a great job developing her. Penelope Ford has by far exceeded every expectation for her.
She's freaking awesome.
Anna Jay, new talent that is rising. Ivelisse and Diamante, great as a tag team. Love them together. So they've got the talent now. Now it's just putting the pieces together right.
And you also...
Yeah, I agree with that.
You forgot one person that you mentioned earlier that just signed. Well, Serena Deeb.
Serena Deeb. And how could I forget Britt Baker and Swole? You know, both.
And you're also forgetting Nyla Rose.
And Nyla Rose, who Nyla Rose is sitting in the background right now, just waiting to start climbing back up those rankings.
You need her away for a little bit.
I do have a prediction for you fellas coming off the heels of this night's Dynamite, and I now see it happening. Mark my words. Remember how I've been talking about stables are in flux with AEW? Mm-hmm. All right, so the Elite's going to be a trio. SCU is a sort of a trio. Jurassic Express is sort of a trio. You've got this stable that's the oddest pairing of people that I think I've ever seen in Eddie Kingston's stable. It really is. I mean, it makes no sense whatsoever to have Butcher, Blade, and then the Lucha Bros with Eddie Kingston. It's working, it's fine, but it's weird.
Don't forget about Team Taz.
But that's a tag team, really.
That's true. Okay.
So to me, and this is where people this is my prediction. Chris Jericho, but within the next 3 months, will no longer be the leader of the Inner Circle. The Inner Circle will be led by Maxwell Jacob Friedman. And it will be MJF, Jake Hager, Sammy Guevara, and PMP along with Wardlow. The reason I'm saying that is I think Jericho's going on tour. You can see them starting to do the Jericho thing. And MJF cut a promo last week or 2 weeks ago. I forget, this quarantine shit blends all together. MJF cut a promo 2 weeks ago where he was literally like, I think maybe I need a faction.
Mm-hmm.
My prediction, MJF will join the Inner Circle and then Rocky Maivia Farouk. MJF Jericho.
Anything is possible. I don't know. I think MJF.
I like it. It sounds good.
It's something, but I don't. I'd kind of like the whole MJF being on his own with having the heavy, Wardlow and stuff. He just doesn't strike me as something that would play well with others.
They've already called out that he wants a stable. So the two options I think are they're either going to do that Inner Circle gimmick, or he had that faction in MLW.
Dynasty.
I could see them signing the Dynasty and pulling them in as his faction.
Oh my God! If they signed Hammerstone, I would just go crazy. Hammerstone is just amazing.
Remember, they've been out. They're not done signing talent because they have that new show coming.
What new show?
There's going to be a second show on TNT. I actually heard it might be on True TV, but there's going to be a second show on Turner that's going to be another 2-hour program. They're also talking about extending Dynamite to 3 hours. So Dynamite's been incredibly successful. I mean, for a first year, getting almost 1 million viewers a week is big for wrestling.
Oh my God, man.
But
you know what? I don't know if I would want Dynamite at 3 hours because
2 hours is.
Yeah, because look at what going to 3 hours has done to Raw.
I'd only be in favor of it if they take some of the storylines that they normally put into BTE and then put that into Dynamite. So that you get a little bit more of the story.
Yeah. I just don't think I'd like the idea. I think, like Dave's saying, 2 hours is good enough. you know.
So we talked about the Dark Order. I got a question for you guys that I'm going to pose. What do you think of the return of, my dude? You guys know I am a huge Cody fan. Not as big as some others, but I'm a big Cody fan.
Yeah, I wonder who you're referring to there.
But I'm a big Cody fan, maybe number 2, if I like that. But
no, it's more like that.
But Cody is back with a vengeance. Dave probably even knows who we're talking about. Cody is back with a vengeance. I love that it's unanimous. Yes. She is number 1. But Cody is back. He came back wearing some Colonel Mustard looking suit up top with I love his ties to the Revolution. It's amazing.
And the jet black hair.
Jet black hair. So what do you guys think is in store for the American Nightmare, Cody?
Well, I believe, if I'm not mistaken,
this guy,
that they're on him and Mr. Brodie Lee are on a collision course in a dog collar match. But you know what though? I kind of want Brodie to hang on to the title for a little bit more, because I think I like the concept of Cody chasing the belt, but I really like what Brodie has done since he's won the belt, and I kind of want him to keep on going with it.
I wish they would change their gimmick though, like the Dark Order.
Why would
I wish it was the way that it is, but I wish they had a more not Wyatt family feel. More Ministry of Darkness feel.
I think you have to understand what the Dark Order is. It's a business, right? It's a cult, but it's also a business. It's they're in the business of winning. That's ultimately what they do. They turn losers to winners. That's their whole gimmick. So you're never going to get...
Fucking Cobra Kai?
It is Cobra Kai. It's fucking Cobra Kai. No mercy!
It's on Netflix right now.
No mercy. Strike first, strike hard, no mercy.
Brodie Lee is friggin' Cleese. That probably...
Sweep the leg?
What?
Sweep the leg?
I told you! But I agree with you, Dennis. I don't think Cody should get the strap back. What I do feel is that this should also lead to a Cody Rhodes heel turn.
I would like to see this version of Cody Rhodes. I would like it to be the ROH version, a heel version of
I think that's
Rhodes.
where we're going. I think we're going to get a new faction. I think the Nightmare family might go away for a little while. And there's been hints to that too. I don't know if you saw Eddie Kingston say to Blade to get his house in order, right? That was a direct reference to Ali being with QT. So I think we're about to see a split between Ali and QT, which will create a split between Brandy and Ali, which I've actually enjoyed their storyline. But it'll create a split between Brandy and Ali. It'll basically leave Dustin and Cody and Brandy as and QT as the collective Nightmare family. I think you'll still have the natural nightmares with QT and Brandy. And then I think Cody is on his way to do something else. My prediction, Cody Rhodes is part of a stable with Shawn Spears and FTR.
Shawn Spears and Cardona, or Cardona and FTR.
I don't think Cardona is going to be a part of that stable. I think it's going to be Shawn Spears, FTR, and Cody.
That's something I could see working. I think seeing that, and again, this isn't bashing you, Charlie, but I see that being more likely than the MJF with the Inner Circle thing. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, look, we're all we can do is speculate on what we see. And
Let's see, man. Hopefully it turns out to be.
I hate to say this, guys. I'm going to interject this here. Yes, we haven't been around for a while. I moved, life, things happen. Dave's got shit going on. Dennis is just starting up on his podcast. Literally, Dennis is literally so fresh that I helped him buy his computer for the podcast. Right?
Yes, you did. You were the guy I went to, so.
So, I mean, Dennis is off to this. We're happy, lucky to have him on the channel. But I will call out that if you go back a year, when AEW was about to start, we were the ones that broke every single rumor. We predicted the show being on TNT. We predicted the signees to the roster that they were going to have.
To the T.
You can go back and look at everything, and we nailed it. So if we decide to come back, we hope you're here for this ride. You're going to be joining not only our program, the 2 Count, you're going to have random soliloquies from Mark Anthony down there. You're going to have just so you know, go to iTunes, Spotify, Dave Duran.
Apple Music, yeah. I got a little single out.
Follow him on Instagram. He'll drive around and sing for you. It's fantastic.
I got a single. I dropped a single in bachata, which is a genre of music that I like to sing. It's on iTunes. It's on Apple Music. It's available on every single digital platform.
Awesome.
Yeah, man. Show love. It's called the song is called Quédate. And just like that, look for it on YouTube, wherever you want to look for it, and fucking listen to it. God damn it.
So and to interject, right? And Dave, if you do a music video, let us know. I'll share it on the channel. But
I don't think not anytime soon.
If you look at our channel as a whole, right? Dennis is bringing to us, and Dennis, I do want to talk a little bit about What Do You Say in a couple minutes too.
Awesome.
But Dennis is joining us to do What Do You Say? What Do You Say is a weekly, sometimes more than once a week, episodic program in which he interviews different wrestlers. And the great thing about it is he's not necessarily calling up Hulk Hogan and say, hey, let's talk. You're hearing from people that are working the circuits, people that just have really inherent knowledge of the wrestling business and have been doing it for a long time. So it's a really interesting listen. If you're driving around, put it on Spotify. Put it on. You're on Apple too, right, Dennis?
Yes, I am.
And you can listen to it there. And then when you're done listening to here, we know you want to look at that mug. So check out the video face to face, him and his guest. And they'll have conversations on here as well. It'll be a weekly part of the 2 Count. In addition to that, I've got a weird bushman of a friend. I'm only kidding, Dave. I love you, not you, Dave, the other Dave. He might be the only person on the planet that has more wrestling merchandise than what's going on behind me right now. Fantastic guy. He goes by the Candle Professor Murder. He typically does unboxings, so you will see the Professor Murder unboxings. I'll still do them from time to time. He's a lot wackier, a lot more high and stoned. It definitely comes out with much better delivery. You don't want to hear me talk, and honestly, my kids just want me to open the damn box at this point anyway. So that's kind of the updates to the channel here. If you're listening, if you want to get back engaged, we'd love to have you. Dennis is going to be here weekly. We'll try to jump back into this as much as we can. And a note to all of the wrestling community. When the 2 Count was started, it was designed to, and if you go back and watch the video, I said it was designed to be a platform for content creators of wrestling to unite, to have big, giant, open communication, just like we are, about the thing that we love. Wrestling unifies. I know that sounds crazy, but in a world of insanity, you could sit in a group of 50 people, 25 Republicans, 25 Democrats. No one says what their political orientation is, and everybody fucking loves each other. And that's how the world should be when you can put your differences aside and separate those things together.
Amen, bro.
So, if you are a creator, you want to join the 2 Count, shoot me a line, slide into my DMs, right? That's what the kids are saying these days. Slide into my DMs. And we'll put you on the 2 Count. You can have a portion. You can have your own playlist, your own set. We'd love to have you. I'll give you a login. I'll give you a password. We'll figure out how to compensate you once the videos start making money. It's all just about love, man. So if you want to be a creator, you want to join the 2 Count, come on along for the ride. Also, one more plug, and this one is only for Spencer Cantor. Yep, that's right. For you, Spencer Cantor. I want you to go over to Facebook. I want you to go over to Instagram, and I want you to like the group Pro Wrestling Junkies. They will randomly do any type of free giveaway. You may win yourself a free t-shirt. They have fantastic meet and greets. They've done the Good Brothers. They've done, literally the list is almost endless.
Kurt Angle, Rob Van Dam.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. I would highly suggest it. And if you are a wrestling t-shirt addict, shout out to Ryan Barkin. Ryan, you're my dude. You're Dennis's dude.
Yep.
We got you. Oh, and I am protesting PWTcast until Dennis Day Jr. appears on the show. Just calling that out right now. So
I would like the record to show that I had no influence in him saying that.
he had no influence, but I'm a loudmouth fucking New Yorker, and I say what I want. I love you, Stank. I love you, Alberto. Go for your people right there. That is Mr. PWTcast. All right. So now back to All Elite Wrestling this week. So we've talked to Cody coming back now. We know what's going on there. Looking at the show, we've talked about Hangman, right? I have an interesting guy to talk about because I've been curious about his direction. What do you guys think of what's happening with Scorpio Sky?
I think I think they're clearly trying to position him as the breakout star of SCU. And stuff. I like it, but I don't think I like it as much as they want me to. It's just like I appreciate what Scorpio Sky is capable of doing in the ring, but I just like him more right now still with SCU. I'm not ready for him to like break away.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't know why they had to break up SCU to make Scorpio Sky a standout star. In the beginning, he was a standout star as a part of SCU, right? He got that title match versus Jericho. I find that AEW has themselves in a little bit of a weird conundrum because they have certain people that they have booked incredibly well. Brodie Lee, incredibly well. Mox, incredibly well. I'm trying to make sure my son doesn't walk into the screen because he's going risky business style. Mox incredibly well.
In bed?
He never sleeps, this kid. Model. Anyway. So, Charlie boy, don't step in front of the camera, okay? Oh, guys, I have to stop. No, I'm going to just step away for a second, okay? Come on, buddy.
Yeah. All right, cool.
Yes, I'll be right back.
So, what do you think about Brodie Lee then?
Say that again, I'm sorry?
Hold on, shit, I just put a little bit of soda here. Fuck me. No, I'm saying that, so what's your feelings on Brodie Lee? What do you think he needs more of, or, I mean, I don't feel like he's been perfectly booked. You know what I mean? I'm more realistic when it comes to shit like that.
Well, the whole thing with Brodie Lee when he first, when he debuted, you know, as the Exalted One, it almost felt like they were trying to make him a parody of Vince McMahon, and I didn't like that. But I like, especially with how he is on being the Elite, like the Dark Order segments. Like, I've talked with Charlie, I've talked with a lot of other people. Right now,
That's
Dark Order,
like the whole fucking BTE stuff, because you see, I'm not the type of dude that I'm gonna watch BTE every fucking week.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I watch it whenever the fuck I feel like watching it. Mm-hmm. So it takes out of the character for me.
Sorry, guys.
Like, I would love if those things were plugged into that fucking Dynamite show.
Sorry, guys. Apologies. You know, sometimes even as your kids get older, you get to a weird phase where you're really happy that they're using the toilet bowl, but you're really upset that they just randomly come up to you to wipe their ass. You know, it happens.
Boys will be boys, brother.
Yep. You know what just happened? He walked up to me with like a nub of toilet paper, and he's like, "Daddy, I'm pooping. I'm like, okay.
Hey, he's excited, man. I know my son was. I mean, my son did that when he was getting potty trained and stuff. You know, I mean, he doesn't come up to me and announce it anymore and stuff. But he's excited, man.
Well, I think, Dennis, your son is a year older than Charlie. Your son's 5, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Charlie just turned 4, pretty much. So he's still, you know, he'll get there. He's a very, very funny kid. He thinks he's Spider-Man, you know.
Dude, I love your kid, man. I love the pictures that you post on, and the ones that Fran posts. Your kid's awesome.
Thank you, brother. Yours is too, and so are yours, Dave.
Yours are awesome, man. Fuck yeah.
So, okay, now we were talking Scorpio Sky when I left. You know, so I find AEW in a weird conundrum. I think that in the ring they put on some of the best quality matches that are out there. There's no denying that. I think they've got their main event booked incredibly well. And then they have certain performers booked incredibly well that have gotten themselves over organically. So Orange Cassidy booked incredibly well now. Breakout star. We'll talk about him in a couple minutes. Darby Allin booked incredibly well. I think they're booking Ricky Starks incredibly well as well in this feud with him. Sammy Guevara booked incredibly well. So they're booking these people great, but there's certain people that I feel like are falling through the cracks, and they're not building the right storylines for them. So like Scorpio Sky has one of the best records in AEW, but the only reason you'll hear about him is because randomly he'll pop up and say, I want a shot at the title. They need to do what happened in the 80s and 90s when we had Boss Man versus Nails. You know, they did a great feud the couple weeks back between Baker and Swole, right? No title on the line. Just
Swole sucks, by the way.
You think Swole sucks? I think she's great.
Nah.
Anyway,
fucking match that they had at that pay-per-view, that shit was horrible.
Well, dude, it was inside a dentist office. I don't know what you really expect from it. It was because Britt was still...
It could have been a lot fucking shorter, I'll tell you that much. That shit did not have to go that long.
The ending was rather odd. Hey, I'm going to inject you in the leg with Novocaine and you're going to go to sleep. But anyway, so my bigger I like Swole a lot. My bigger problem really with some of these things is they're not building a lot of secondary storylines. They're building the primary storylines, a couple mid-card storylines, and then guys like Scorpio Sky are walking around without a storyline. They're just winning matches on Dark, right? So they're doing it well with Sean Spears. He's got a secondary storyline, MJF does. But to me, the bigger issue is really guys like Scorpio Sky, guys like the Hybrid 2, guys like, that came up with a lot of buzz and hype, but at the end of the day, didn't really live up to that buzz and hype because they just can't get integrated into a storyline anywhere.
I'm really upset that they have done, I'll admit, they've done pretty good at booking, right? There's some inconsistencies in the storylines because, they really don't interject much of the storylines into the Dynamite program. They do it on BTE.
Yep.
I would like for AEW to bring those storylines that you can do something on Dynamite, and then if you want to finish watching, go to the BTE channel.
I think what they really need right now, and they've talked about it for a long time, they need to interject the 6-man title, because I think the 6-man title frees up a lot of shit for them. Because then the Elite can go after that, SCU can go after that.
Yeah, but I don't think a title is going to do any, unless you start.
It is a bigger. So right now you have to look. They have 3 male singles titles, right?
Yep.
So they're not going to add another one of those. You've got the championship, like the World Heavyweight. You've got the TNT, and then you've got the FTW, which I think they haven't really. They've just started to scratch what they want to do with the FTW title. Then they have the men's tag. I don't know why the women got friggin' medals. What the hell was that? Why did they not give them championships belts? Why did they get a medal that they're wearing to the ring every week?
It's no different than when the medal thing I don't have as much of an issue about, because one, I don't think their women's division is deep enough for tag titles yet. But also, too, it's no different than when, let's say, the Good Brothers won that gauntlet match in Saudi Arabia to become the best tag team in the world, and they carried the trophy to that. Or really, it's no different with MJF and the Dynamite Dozen ring.
I think you're right.
Or Angle and his medals.
I think they need. Well, Angle's medals were legitimate Olympic medals.
Yeah,
but I think that what they need to do at the end of the day is they signed a lot of people very early on that were fantastic. And I think why there's a push and a pull right now, and I'm not complaining about it because I understand that it takes time, right? And they have to find the right storyline for people. But I think what you're seeing is an incredibly big divide right now with people that were original AEW purists that came in, and they're like, wait a minute, we signed all these guys from WWE, and now the guys that I love are just jobbing out to the guys that have come in from WWE. And I hear that, and I get it, because while guys like Jurassic Express and Darby Allin have done well, you also have this group of guys that originally looked like they were going to be stars of the company that kind of faded off, like Joey Janela, right? So I get
Janela was going to be the face of a company?
Not a face, a star with the company. I think if you look at the early booking of Joey Janela,
listen, if they make a hardcore division title, around Joey Janela, that's probably as much of a star.
Don't sleep on Joey Janela. He's better in the ring than you think. I think.
I'm not saying he's not. I'm not saying that he's a bad wrestler. He just his gimmick. It doesn't do it for me.
So, do you know who I feel is AEW's next big signing? I'm telling you, I'm calling my shot right now.
Who?
All Ego Ethan Page.
See, now that I could get behind.
The second his contract expires, he will come to AEW and they will shoot him to the moon because Cody loves him.
He's immensely talented as well, too.
He is.
The next signing that AEW needs to do.
Tessa Blanchard.
ASAP.
Yeah, I know. Tessa Blanchard.
You need to listen. Don't even sign the other guy. Sign this girl.
If they sign Tessa Blanchard, again, the problem with AEW's women's division has been legitimacy. It's when you have a company like, let's say for argument's sake, we're talking WWE 5 years ago, right? What was the measuring stick? The measuring stick was John Cena, right? So a talent would come up, they'd have to fight John Cena, and that's also why they didn't do a good job of building stars, because John Cena would normally crush them. So, but ultimately the measuring stick against the division was John Cena. So John Cena can make someone's career, a la CM Punk, right? CM Punk was on the rise, but that Money in the Bank match really pushed him over the top. So, well, the pipe bomb did, but that whole promo and gimmick. So I think with AEW, their women's division does not have that centralized John Cena figure, where their men's division does. Their men's division had Chris Jericho to be that centralized figure, right? The one everybody knew, that adds credibility. They still haven't found that person to put credibility. Now, Shida's doing a very admirable job, and I do think Shida can be a star. But again, you need Tessa Blanchard to come in, challenge for the title, and then Shida to beat her. And then people are going to be like, oh, she beat somebody. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get you. It gives her that legitimate win that you're saying she really needs.
Yep, she does.
Give her the rub, bro.
So what else are we missing? Okay, here's another one for you.
I was going to say, if you don't, I got something.
So I got one more, DD, and then it's up to you, bud. What do you guys think of the signing of Matt Sydal?
I mean, I love Matt Sydal, but fuck, man, that whole...
Oh, God, I know.
Oh,
what a way to fucking kick off your debut in AEW.
I love how they played it off. I mean, he slipped on Michael Nakazawa's baby oil on the top rope.
that was hilarious.
That was good. Do you think that he fits the company? Do you think that they'll be able to find something good for him to do? Or do you think he'll be a fade into the background, kind of just get talent over?
I like to see him in the Dark Order.
What?
In the Dark Order. You remember that whole fucking thing he was doing with the third eye?
The third eye.
Oh, shit. That's right.
I would love to see him in it. He would fit perfectly in the Dark Order. Just make him, make a Brodie Lee. He'll be your Adam Cole, and you'll have your Bobby Fish and O'Reilly.
Right.
They have him talking to Scorpio Sky a lot right now, and I know this sounds weird. I wonder if maybe they're thinking about pairing those two up,
or maybe they're gonna do that gimmick with the eye shit. I don't remember what the fuck it was called.
Didn't he have do something like that when he was in Impact with?
Yeah. That's
where he was like Josh Matthews' guru or spiritual advisor or something.
It was actually on an episode of BTE too. Remember he did it with Luchasaurus.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. Yes.
So I could
my whole thing with Matt Sydal is when he came out as the with the Joker card. I didn't want to say as the Joker because he's definitely not a joke. When he was in the Casino Battle Royal at All Out, I will admit the way they were built, I wasn't like I was underwhelmed. Like, I mean, there's nothing against him. It's just they're hyping him up to be, it was hyped up to be someone really huge. And again, nothing against Matt Sydal, but I don't think of him in the way that I think of, like, some of the other
like
names
or someone.
And stuff.
I mean, and it didn't even necessarily have to be a debut, right? They could have given that to someone that maybe internally could, like, I liked the idea of Lance Archer getting the title shot, but we know that Lance Archer's not winning right now. Like, I can tell you right off the top of my head right now who the next AEW champion is and say it with 100% certainty. Who do you think it is? I'll ask you guys too, and then
it's not gonna be Cody.
If I'm not mistaken, because I think you and I have talked about this, I think you've pegged Kenny Omega as the next champ.
Omega's the next champ. We're going to go full circle. He's going to beat Lance Archer. He already beat Eddie Kingston. And then he's going to wind up going – Kenny's going to feud with Hangman. Kenny's going to beat Hangman for a chance at the title. And then Kenny's taking the title off Mox as the cleaner. That's what's happening with the title. I'm telling you.
Full heel Kenny?
Full heel Kenny's taking the title. With the Bucks standing in his fucking
I just hope that once he really goes heel, I don't want to see them do that funny shit anymore. Like, I want them to be like, the New Japan.
You haven't seen what the Bucks have been doing? They're literally just randomly kicking people in the face for no reason.
They shattered Tony Schiavone's phone.
That was the weirdest thing in the world. They just threw the money at him. I'm sorry. I'm telling you right now, AEW is gonna get close within the next 6 months to surpassing Raw's ratings the second the cleaner goes heel.
I don't know if I'm ready to say that to go that far. I definitely think it's gonna help with their rating, but I as much as bad as Raw has been, Retribution.
Oh God.
Yeah,
what the fuck was that all about?
Don't get me started on that. But as bad as Raw has been, I think it's going to be a while before AEW even comes close to.
Well, what's WWE sitting at? WWE sitting at like 1.6, 1.7, right?
No, I always thought they were like two. They were still in the
2.2.
Yeah.
So if they're sitting at 2.2, and right now AEW is hovering around 1. Maybe they start to get to like 1.5 within the next 6 months, 1.6.
That is more likely, in my opinion.
What they need to start doing is adding more storylines to their fucking TV show. I don't want to just see fucking wrestling. Well, I need the storylines. I love storylines, and I need those storylines. God damn it!
I agree with you. I mean,
I agree too.
Listen, if they add that fucking storylines to their fucking shit, you know how much more viewership they'll get?
Oh, I agree. Now,
I'm not saying don't misinterpret what I'm saying. I'm not saying for them to get rid of BTE. You know what I mean? Like, whatever storylines you want to do on BTE, it's for BTE.
Well, I feel like BTE lost its way a little bit, and I'll explain what I mean. I'm not saying the content's bad. I think the content's amazing. What I think happened is BTE was originally just like follow the Young Bucks on the road, and they kind of like weaved storylines into it. I feel like now it's more a collection of storylines with very little anything else. Even when they were allowed to travel, right? It would be a 22-minute episode. The Bucks would show us like 3 minutes of their lives behind the scene. Here we are on the plane. We're waiting at the airport. And then it would be storylines. So over time, gradually, the show has changed from a show that was about 3 wrestlers trying to make it in Japan to a show that is now just gimmick.
That shit was supposed to be a vlog.
What?
That show was initially a vlog.
Yeah, it was a vlog.
And it just fucking...
It evolved.
It evolved into something that... It evolved into something... Yes, BT is great. If it's just behind the scenes shit. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, whatever the fuck you want to do. Whatever, just behind the scenes shit. It don't incorporate.
You also can't take away without BTE, right? And I'm just throwing this out there. Without BTE, Jurassic Express aren't stars right now.
Oh, that's fine. Without you could do that on TV.
Without BTE, the Dark Order isn't. So no, because you can't do what they were doing on TV. Like,
yes, you can. You could do it. You can have Brodie Lee say shit or whatever on TNT.
No, I'm talking more things like, Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus randomly walking around supermarkets with friggin' people on the, like, that wouldn't really translate to TV.
Right. No, what I'm saying is take those storylines out. Put it on TV. Don't give it to me as what it looks like on BTE. Give it to me different. Dress it.
I think
you know what I mean?
I get what you're saying, but I think part of the problem too is just exhaustion, right? I think most wrestling fans watch more than one wrestling program.
I just think they need to fucking get writers
And I do not want AEW to get writers. Please, no, never.
Not writers, but someone that knows how to put fucking storylines together.
It's a booking by committee, and honestly, their booking team keeps getting better and better and better. I don't know if you guys saw the news. Dennis, you probably did. Dave, I'm not sure if you did. But Gerald Briscoe is about to join their booking team too.
Has that been confirmed? I know he was.
I didn't know that.
He's dropping.
I know he was let go.
He's dropping little hints that it's going to happen, and he was going to announce it the day Animal died, and said out of respect, he's not announcing it yet. So I think he's honestly headed there. You have Arn on the booking team. You have Tully on the booking team, I believe. You have Billy Gunn on the booking team. You have all of the Elite on the booking team. You have Tony Khan on the booking team. So, like, they've got a lot of great wrestling minds. I think the difference between AEW and WWE is AEW truly wants their talent to get themselves over. Like, they just want to create opportunity for talent to get over. And that's why you get weird things like, you know, I love this weird random pairing of Sonny Kiss and Joey Janela, right? They're giving them some sort of way to get TV time to try to get themselves over. Some talent got themselves over more than they ever even anticipated.
They need to keep Joey Janela.
The hell up.
They need to keep Joey Janela and Sonny Kiss in Dark, man.
On Dark?
Yeah.
You really don't like them that much?
Again, they don't do nothing for me, but I don't know. I like Sonny Kiss. I like the gimmick, but I don't know. I think it's a little bit much.
Yo, that's not a gimmick. That is legit Sonny Kiss.
Yeah.
I mean,
I just think it's a bit much. Keep it on Dark, where it's on YouTube, where you can do more stuff.
Well, I just think the funniest part about Sonny Kiss is that he's got Jim Ross really friggin' confused. If you listen to Jim Ross, he goes back and forth on he and she more than I've.
Yes, I heard that last night.
He's going she,
and I get what he's trying to do though, because now correct me if I'm wrong. If Sonny Kiss came in with the Goldust gimmick, then you have like, you know, you have a great gimmick because you don't know. You have Jim Ross confused. This is a girl, this is a guy.
So do you know where Sonny Kiss cut his teeth? Warriors of Wrestling in Staten Island. So I've had the pleasure of watching Sonny Kiss for a couple of years now before he even went to AEW. As a matter of fact, I went to a meet and greet to meet Brandy, and Sonny Kiss was wrestling that night. And I'm pretty sure that that's the night that they met that led to Sonny joining AEW.
Wow.
Sonny is not a gimmick. That is who he is as a person. And when
I'm not saying but that's great for his personality.
I'm saying is, if you ask, like, he needs to tone it down a little bit, here's the reality of the situation. He has. In Staten Island when he would wrestle, dude, guy had on like booty hugger shorts where you literally saw his entire butt cheeks. And he used to put that in the face. He used to do full-on splits on the top rope and like twerk and things like that. Like things that he doesn't do now, he toned down for TV. So you're actually watching a more tame version of his gimmick.
Wow. That's not what I'm saying. I think
you said you should leave that shit to Dark.
Leave it to Dark because you could do more of that with him. But if you're gonna have him on TV, he needs a gimmick.
But you have to understand, I think AEW is trying to break down barriers like that. They're a very inclusive company, and I think they want people to get exposed to that. Look, they probably.
No, I'm fine with him being, you know, from the what is it?
LGBT.
No, it's not even LGBT anymore. It's LGBTQIA.
Wow.
There you go. Well, whatever it is. You know, I don't mind that he's a gay person on TV. What I mind is that, okay, yeah, he's gay, whatever. I want him to have a gimmick like Goldust. Yeah, I feel like it would get him more over instead of coming out.
Straight man pretending to be a massage, like
androgynous.
That's it. Thank you, Dennis.
But you could give him an androgynous. He doesn't have to. I mean, yeah, you know he's gay. But he doesn't, for TV, he doesn't have to come out fucking twerking.
But that's his gimmick.
But see, my thing is here, and then I'm going to end it on this. I actually have another commitment I have to attend to, so I'm going to dip out after I make this statement. See, if you tried to put Sonny Kiss in a gimmick like Goldust, in this politically correct society that we live in now, every single, like you said, the all the different, you know, the pride community, the gay community, all that stuff, they would call for AEW to be pulled off the air immediately. And I think that's why you could never see something like that. And on that note, I hate to do this, but I actually have to record an episode of my own podcast. So I'm going to call it a night with you guys real quick. And I want to thank you both for having me on here. And I hope this is the first of many times I'm on this.
Fuck yeah, man.
So guys, before DDJ dips, I'm just going to throw this out there. Check the channel tomorrow.
Just end it there if you
want.
This
episode, and you will have another episode of What Do You Say with DDJ. Dennis, thanks for joining us, bud.
Thanks, guys.
All right, buddy.
All right, David, back to 2, my friend. I feel like you told me that you have a really bitter view of wrestling right now. And I feel like I would be remiss if I didn't allow you to use this platform to let it all out. So let's call this segment of the show where Dave goes heel.
Yeah, I do. I just listen. It's not. I'm not gonna go fully heel. I'm gonna give you a little light version. Really,
just a little bit.
I'm just upset with all the fucking storyline. Like, I'm a very big storyline guy. I love storylines. You know what I mean? You know, fucking Bret Hart versus fucking Shawn Michaels and Diesel, and fucking Shawn Michaels and Triple H. You know what I mean? Like, there's story, there's history there.
Yep.
And I just feel like let's put it like this: none of the companies are doing any storyline, because AEW isn't doing storylines either.
AEW has a good number of storylines, but a lot of their rosters left out. So
that is what pisses me off. Like, yo, you could give me so much better content. There's so much better shit that you could do, but it's like you refuse to fucking do it.
I feel
on WWE's case, whatever, you know, that's just, you know what I mean? Like,
I can't believe WWE, and this sickens me, all right? WWE, now, AEW has a very, very talented roster, and it's starting to make its way comparably.
I agree. They have a great roster.
But WWE legitimately has, bar none, some of the best performers in the world, right? If you just look at it, just from a top-level perspective, I'm not talking about what they're doing right now, what their storylines are, what their gimmicks are. Ricochet, one of the best wrestlers in the world, bar none, right?
And what is he doing?
Nothing.
Exactly.
Cedric Alexander.
Finn Balor.
Mustafa Ali. Tommaso Ciampa. Johnny Gargano. All of these guys are sitting within Aleister Black. Seth Rollins even, right? I love his Messiah gimmick or whatever it is.
He needs to get away.
You know what? You know what's funny?
He needs, like,
get
off of TV.
The only booking decision that WWE has made right, that actually made me tune back in for a few weeks, was the decision to turn Roman Reigns heel. That's it.
It's perfect.
That is the only thing that made me watch. So the only reason I was watching WWE before Roman turned heel was Becky Lynch. Becky was on a tear. I love Becky. She was killing it. And I was tuning in every week for Becky. I kind of liked what they were doing with Sasha and Bayley a little bit. And then everybody else was just falling to the wayside for me. Roman coming back as a heel, I think, is a statement that maybe they're going to finally start giving fans what they want to try to get their viewership back.
So let me ask you a question now. Now you can interject and then we can give our final statements.
Final statements. All right.
What do you feel like pro wrestling in general is missing right now?
It's a great question. Storylines are definitely part of it. I think that people aren't.
And let me take this back, because we really don't even fucking count Impact like as a legit wrestling promotion.
Which is sad because they have a good.
Which is sad because they have Matt Taven signed with them, right?
No, I don't think so. Did he?
Isn't he Ace Austin?
No, he's not East Austin. That's a different person, bro.
Oh, it looks just like him.
He does look like him. No, Matt Taven's still with ROH, but I mean,
he looks just like this dude.
if you look at who they have,
But bro, look who they have. They have Ace Austin, Brian Myers, Chris Bay, Crazy Steve, Daga, the Hit Squad, Dez, Eddie Edwards, Eric Young.
Eric, that was weird though, bro. Eric, you're gonna take Eric Young and put the title immediately on Eric Young? That was just weird.
He's so good. Tell me he wasn't great with that fucking whatever faction it was called.
Yep, Sanity. No, he's great, but you take a guy who was literally just a jobber for 4 years and throw him on your main title. I mean, build him up a little bit first. You know what I mean?
Who else do they have on their squad that's big name like that?
They could have just left it on Eddie Edwards. They could have had EC3 attack him and win it from EC3. EC3 is a little bit different. WWE at least didn't even use him. So it'd almost be like former world champion comes back and wins immediately. Now, I get Eric Young was a world champion too, but his WWE performance was like he was a jobber, you know? EC3 wasn't really a jobber. He was just a guy they never did anything with.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. But, I mean, I would like to see – I don't know. What do you think is missing from it?
It's one of those things, man, and it's different promotion by promotion, right? So WWE is missing its passion completely. They've lost their way in terms of having a feel of what people want, and it's just gotten worse and worse and worse. That's why I said the first booking decision that they've made in a long time that was right was Roman Reigns as a heel. So that's WWE's main issue. Impact's main issue is that they've fallen so hard that they'll never get consumer trust back, right? It sucks. There are a lot of people that love Impact and watch Impact. I tune into Impact. It's a good show. But
where do they show that at?
Shit, I have it recording. I don't even remember anymore. I think it's
It's not Spike.
No, it's not.
That's Spike. The last time I watched fucking Impact.
It's one of the it's the network that it's Access when New Japan used to be, right? So they've done okay, but the problem with them is everybody looks at it like, all right, shit, it's just Impact, and they'll do good for a little while, and then their stars will leave, and then we're starting all over again, right? So that's Impact's real problem. AEW's problem is more of the line of, I would say, I think it had a lot of hype on the onset. It's a great program. I think they, like I said, going back to earlier, it's all elite wrestling. People were shitting on them, thinking that they were going to take all the championships and do everything. But I think they went the complete opposite direction and didn't put enough focus on themselves. There is no reason to me that the Young Bucks shouldn't have been champions before Kenny Omega and Hangman Page, right? And why are we doing that? We're talking about how great tag team wrestling is, and I love Kenny Omega and Hangman Page as a tag team, but we're talking about how great tag team wrestling is, and they literally, I don't care what Dennis said before, they literally have the most stacked tag team roster. There's no denying it. You've got the Young Bucks, you've got FTR, you've got the Lucha Bros, you have TH2, you have Private Party, you have
see, I don't think Private Party is a good team, but
they're young, they're upstarts, that's all.
Yeah, they need to change that gimmick, bro. It's too much like the Street Profits.
It's starting to change. But that's who they always were before the Street Profits. That's been their gimmicks at House of Glory. So then you have Jurassic Express. So they've literally got this like Butcher and Blade. They've literally got this stacked tag team roster, and they're at a point where, you know, why would you put it on two singles wrestlers when all of these other tag teams are down? Proud and Powerful. Even Les Sex Gods with Jericho, they were positioned as a tag team. So that was one of my big peeves. It's like the Elite didn't do enough to get themselves over. I think they overestimated their value a little bit to a mainstream audience. They were smart to put the belt on Mox. Now, ROH, I think, is the one that's in the most trouble, because not only historically they lose talent and they're able to rebound, but I think they put all their eggs in the Marty Scurll basket. And then it turned out Marty was a pedophile. So, you know, they're in a little bit of trouble.
What the fuck happened?
You didn't hear about that whole Speak Up movement thing it was?
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I saw
Like
that shit. But what
25.
happened? I know Joey Ryan is fucked.
Joey Ryan screwed. With Marty, it's he had like supposedly had like a groupie type scenario, and the girl was 16, and she told him to stop, and he didn't stop. His version of the story is that's not what happened. It was consensual, and the age of consent in the UK is 16. So I mean, it's one of those like, but again, it's killed Marty. So ROH is screwed there. And then New Japan's trying to break into the United States now, but COVID's kind of really thrown a wrench into that plan. And I think they might have done well here. My bigger concern is the main. So if
Mark Cuban still owns a piece of NJPW.
I think he owned Axis. I'm not sure if he owned NJPW, but I think I'm glad they did a U.S. expansion. My question becomes, will the mainstream audience get behind Japanese wrestling?
I think NJPW has fallen fucking flat too.
Because the Elite left, that killed their booking plans. They've done some cool stuff though. I mean, Naito winning the double championship was cool. Evil taking it off of him was cool. Gaito is a great booker. My problem is, look, we love wrestling. So we're okay with a guy getting on a microphone and talking Japanese.
Mm-hmm.
Will the casual viewer flicking through the channels, finding a guy talking Japanese, stay on the show? That's the problem, Plus, the only way you can watch the damn thing is if you have that subscription. Now, another company to watch, though, is MLW.
Because I like MLW. I follow it a little bit.
But they've been on YouTube for a long time, and that's really the only way you can watch them. Here comes the best part about it to me. They just signed a deal with DAZN.
Yeah.
That's big. So, look, the industry's in a good spot right now. Wrestling as a whole needs to get mainstream appeal back. And for some reason, it's just having a really tough time doing it.
It lost all momentum. Wrestling has just declined bad, yo.
Well, it's not that it's
I'm just like, bro, I love pro wrestling, bro, and I don't watch that shit no more.
Well, you watch.
I watch Impact. I mean, I watch Dynamite and NXT. That's about it. I don't know. I don't watch SmackDown. I don't watch Raw.
Because there's so many options for content. Why waste your time? Right? Like, I put Raw and SmackDown on if I'm trying to fall asleep. I'm not even shitting you.
I don't even watch the condensed version on fucking Hulu, dude. I can't watch it.
Well, also,
like, bro, this whole Retribution shit.
What a weird stable, right? What's with the Bane masks?
Why can't you just fucking give me good booking?
I feel like stables, when they used to form them, had a lot more of a purpose. Like they made sense when they put them together. Nowadays, it's almost like, we've got nothing for some people. Let's slap them together and form a stable. Right? Like, think about it, though. Like the Hart Foundation back in the day. That stable made sense. Why? Because you had Brett and Owen, who were brothers. Jim the Anvil was the brother-in-law. Bulldog was a brother-in-law. Brian Pillman was their best friend. Boom. Done. Stable makes sense. Perfect, right? Nation of Domination. It was almost meant to be like a Black Power type of organization that they built within, but all of them were they basically took every black athlete in WWE and put them in this faction and made them go against. So they made sense, right? DX completely made sense.
NWO.
NWO made sense. NWO kind of was part of the decline of stables because at first it was fantastic, and then they just grew it and grew it and grew it and grew it and grew it. And so
same shit with DX. I mean, DX maintained themselves, but at first it was just Michaels, Triple H, and China, and then it expanded with the New Age Outlaw.
Well, you know why that happened, right? Because Michaels had to leave because of the injury, and they wanted Triple H to look good. Mm-hmm. So in order to make Triple H look good, they had to surround him with almost like cronies, and that's what the second DX was. It was Triple H's faction with cronies.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, I'll say this. I need them to work on their storylines, man.
I'm with you, bro.
And with AEW, they have so much good storylines. It's just they don't fucking show it on TV. So it's kind of hard for, let's say, fucking someone like Jim Cornette, right? That doesn't fucking really like your product and talks and bastards and, you know, says whatever the fuck he wants. And he does have, you know, a valid point in his argument, because he's like, yo, I don't want to see BTE on YouTube to go see a fucking storyline of something that I'm watching on TNT, you know, on live television.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It makes sense. Like, and I think they need to correct that. Yeah. If they correct that and they add that to Dynamite, forget about it.
I think if you get that third hour, you get a lot more of that interjected into Dynamite.
You could, yeah. If they do,
that's what it is.
And the next show doesn't have to be a 2-hour show.
They're running a tight ship right now, if you think about it, right? Because they're like, we only have 2 hours. We want to get as many people on TV as we can. And that's kind of why you're seeing what you see. But I think if they add that third hour, they can definitely, feature another person or two, and then also interject more of a storyline. I'm with you.
Bro, and your TV will make so much more sense.
Well, I think that you have to remember, I think they built this based on their core audience, and they know their core audience follows them whatever they do. The problem is, at some point, if you want to be successful, you have to, like, they need what happened in the Austin era, right? People that didn't like wrestling were tuning into wrestling just because
it's bad fucking, that's it.
They need that. I honestly think Kenny Omega is going to give it to him. I'm telling you, when he wins that title, Mox has been a great champion. He's added legitimacy to the belt. Now Kenny comes and beats him on the main stage. Everybody's going to be like, oh shit, this guy just beat Dean Ambrose, right? Because that's what these mainstream media thinks, you know.
But give me that storyline.
They will.
Don't just fucking, you know what I mean? I want to see this on TV. Don't give me all because he beat him one time and then go to BTE to watch it. Like, I want to see it there.
I'm telling you, I think it's coming. I think all of the issues that you've been seeing, all the issues you've been noticing, everything that you've been pointing out, I think a lot of those things are going to change. And I'm really excited because I think that we've got some great TV coming in the next 6 months.
Let's see, man. Hopefully. I mean, I keep an eye on it. You know what I mean? Like, I'll watch Dynamite. I'll watch NXT. I'll have it here on the computer on one screen and the other on the other one. But I just want to see it thrive so much. And I just feel like, yes, you're thriving because you're beating the other company in viewership. But it's like, damn, dude, like you could be doing so much more.
They will, my friend. Give it time. And you know what? We were there from before the ride started. We're back. And with that, I think we can do our close off now. It's been awesome to be back on a camera, bud. We definitely have to do this again soon.
Hell yeah, man.
In the interim, like I said, guys, stay on board for the 2 count. Turn the notifications on. Hit the subscribe button. You're going to get not just one, but right now 3 programs in one.
Fuck yeah.
You're going to get the 2 count, which is me, Dave, and whoever decides to join us that random day. Kyle Dameron, wherever you are, sir, please come back. We would love to have you back with us. Kyle is one of the OG 2 count hosts who provided us with our sweet theme music.
Man.
So Kyle, always welcome back. Miss you, brother. Love you, man. You've got me and Dave here. You got Whaddya Say, DDJ, and Professor Murder will wreak havoc on merchandise. So keep your eyes open, keep your notifications on. And as always, folks, thank you for joining us here on the 2 count. Y'all have yourselves a good night, and we shall talk soon.
It is a do.